Have you ever thought of why you couldn't learn how to drive by just watching a driving tutorial on YouTube? Or why you couldn't learn how to play baseballs by just watching those tutorial videos? So this also can, the same principle also can be applied to why you couldn't start a company by watching other people starting company, by reading other people's biographies, that sort of things. Why? I think majority of you believe you couldn't, but today we're going to discuss why. What's the root cause? So, in my opinion, when you do, let's just take the driving as example. When you do the driving, when you watch driving videos, you may feel you can learn something. You know when to turn your steering wheel, or when to use like some other stuff. But what I will argue is you actually couldn't really receive the input when what will you get when you are driving, because watching videos is like watching from another angle. You couldn't know a lot of things the driver is experiencing while driving. So even the end results, you should turn right, turn left, these kind of high level things, but you don't know what drivers actually perceive, and how to turn right. Maybe turning right, maybe it's not easy. Maybe steering wheel is too heavy. Then you need to make it turn quicker, or that's sometimes when you turn too quick, then you need to slow it down, and you need to maybe you need to brake a little bit. They many details you don't really know unless you are really driving, unless you really drive it, right? So if you couldn't really sit in the driver's seat and really drive the car on the road, you won't have that kind of experience. You won't be able to really learn it. Okay, so let's just take another example. Can you learn how to play basketball or baseball by watching a video? You couldn't, because when you are really in the basketball court, the situation is very different. Your perceptions, your input features, the things that you will get is very different from you watching the videos. And when you're really in a basketball court, everything is happening so fast, and you hear the ball being dribbled, and you hear some people running through you, and you see some people coming, and you see some people steal your ball, and they all of those perception inputs will not be able to get unless you are the person who's really playing that. So even when there's a wide open, you should shoot a 3-pointer, but when you're really in the court, that's totally different, because you couldn't see the wide open so clearly when you are in the court. So that's why the input that you get from watching a video and the really playing the basketball is very different, the input. So that will affect your decision making process, and how to play baseball better. One of the things you need to train your decision making capability. If the input that you get from watching video and playing the real basketball are different, then you won't be able to really train your decision making capability. You basically will train. When I watch the wide open from the video, because usually videos like from the top view, when I see there's a wide open, I should pass the ball to them, right? You learn this actually basically maybe not a useful decision making capability, because in the real court, basketball court, you won't really see a wide open. You maybe can sense it, or you can get a tip, like your teammate maybe will tell you, or they will have certain like gesture to indicate, trying to tell you there's a wide open. So that's why will learn in the code, and you couldn't really get those inputs from watching videos. Same goes to starting maybe a company. If you want to start a company, then you maybe read a lot of success stories of the other founders. Then you start a company, then you still fail. There's a lot of reasons. The first reason is maybe startup is over it's already very hard, so like it's the success rate is like a default very low. But another reason is when you're really maybe running a company, then the input that you will get is very different, because you couldn't, when you read other people's story, you couldn't know what kind of pressure they're under and what kind of situation there really is. Because when you are really in that situation, you will have a lot of different kind of pressures. For example, your friends are doing something, your friends are also your co-founder, then maybe he's doing something wrong, but because of he's your friend, you don't know how to talk to him. And that's the input only when you are doing that you can get, because they also related to your emotion. And when people doing this kind of emotion related to emotion things, then your behavior will totally change. So that's the reason you couldn't really learn by just reading other people's stories. You need to really experience that to know what kind of input that you really get, and what kind of decision you need to make, because you're training your decision making capability. So you need to get the exact same inputs as what you will actually get in the real life. So if you start a company, then you can really learn something, how to start a company, how to handle those management situation. But if you're reading other people's stories, I bet you couldn't. So that's a thing that I want to share with you. I think this is very interesting thought practice. Why we couldn't learn driving from watching driving videos? Why we couldn't learn how to play basketball by watching videos? Okay, so that's all I want to share with you today. If you would like to receive more thought exercise like this, or some analysis about technology trends like this, don't forget to subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you next time.